Life constantly presents two realities at the same time, blessings and battles. What determines your peace, progress, and purpose is not which one exists, but which one receives your attention. Many people are exhausted not because their battles are too strong, but because their focus is misplaced. When you focus on battles, fear grows. When you focus on blessings, faith becomes active. Battles are temporary assignments. Blessings are permanent evidence. Battles are meant to develop you, not define you. Blessings are reminders that you are already sustained, already provided for, and already guided. When you give all your mental energy to what is opposing you, you unknowingly give authority to it. But when you shift your focus to what is working, what has been given, and what is preserved, you regain clarity and strength. Focusing on blessings does not mean denying reality. It means interpreting reality correctly. A battle may be loud, urgent, and demanding, but a blessing is often quiet, consistent, and sustaining. Air is a blessing you rarely notice until it's missing. Peace is a blessing you undervalue until chaos tries to replace it. The ability to wake up, think, plan, and hope is already a victory before any battle begins. Many people lose perspective because they measure life only by what is going wrong. But wisdom measures life by what is already secured. You may be fighting a financial battle, but you are still breathing, thinking, learning, and growing. You may be facing opposition, but you still possess gifts, vision, and purpose. These are not small things. These are foundations. Battles demand reaction. Blessings invite reflection. When you react to battles, you move emotionally. When you reflect on blessings, you move intentionally. Gratitude sharpens vision. It allows you to see that even in conflict, provision exists. Even in delay, preparation is happening. Even in pressure, growth is occurring. A person who focuses on battles becomes anxious, restless. A person who focuses on blessings becomes stable and confident. Stability is not the absence of problems, it is the presence of perspective. The moment you recognize how much has already been given to you, you stop panicking about what is trying to resist you. Battles are not proof that you are losing. They are evidence that you are advancing. Resistance only shows up where progress is being made. But if you keep staring at resistance, you forget why you started. Blessings remind you of your assignment, your value, and your direction. When you focus on blessings, your language changes. Complaints turn into clarity. Fear turns into strategy. Pressure turns into patience. You begin to move from survival to stewardship. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You start asking, what have I already been equipped with to handle this? Your battles are not the headline of your life. Your blessings are. Battles pass, blessings build. Choose to see what is sustaining you, not just what is stressing you. Focus determines authority, and authority determines outcome. Focus determines power, because whatever holds your attention begins to shape your authority. Power is not first a matter of strength or resources. It is a matter of direction. Many people possess potential gifts and opportunities, yet live powerless lives because their focus is scattered or misplaced. Attention is a form of agreement. What you consistently look at, think about, and speak on is what you empower. When focus is unclear, energy is wasted. When focus is disciplined, power becomes concentrated. Focus is the lens through which reality is interpreted. Two people can face the same situation and experience completely different outcomes based on what they focus on. One sees obstacles and becomes hesitant. The other sees possibilities and becomes strategic. The situation does not change, but the authority with which it is approached does. Focus trains the mind to either magnify fear, amplify faith. Whatever is magnified will dominate your emotions and influence your actions. Distraction is one of the greatest enemies of power. A distracted mind may be busy, but it is rarely effective. When attention is divided, strength is diluted. This is why pressure feels overwhelming when focus is broken. Power requires alignment. When your thoughts, emotions, and decisions move in the same direction, momentum is created. Focus gathers the inner forces of a person and aims them toward a clear outcome. Power also follows consistency, and consistency is sustained by focus. What you return to daily becomes your stronghold, either for growth or limitation. If your focus is continually on lack, failure, or fear, those ideas begin to govern your confidence. But when your focus is trained on purpose, progress, and provision, Endurance is strengthened. Focus does not remove challenges, but it equips you to confront them without losing balance. Focus determines not only what you see, but how you respond. When focus is reactive, power becomes emotional. When focus is intentional, power becomes disciplined. Many people give power to temporary circumstances because they allow immediate pressure to control long-term vision. The moment you shift focus from what is urgent to what is important, authority is restored. Vision always outlives pressure. Power is released when focus is selective. Not everything deserves your attention. Wisdom is knowing what to ignore. Energy is a valuable resource, and focus decides where it is invested. When you learn to withdraw attention from distractions, offenses, and unnecessary comparisons, you reclaim strength that was being drained. Silence, stillness, and clarity often produce more power than constant reaction. Focus also determines growth. You cannot develop what you refuse to observe, and you cannot improve what you avoid confronting. At the same time, you cannot heal what you constantly rehearse with negativity. Balanced focus acknowledges reality without becoming enslaved to it. This balance produces maturity, which is a higher form of power than force. Power is sustained by vision, and vision survives through focus. When focus is anchored in purpose, setbacks lose their ability to discourage. Delays no longer feel like denial, and resistance no longer feels personal. You begin to understand that opposition does not cancel authority. It often confirms it. Focus keeps you aligned with why you started, even when progress seems slow. Ultimately, focus determines who or what leads your life. If circumstances lead, power is fragile. If purpose leads, power becomes stable. Focus is the gateway through which authority flows. Guard it, direct it, and discipline it. Because where your focus rests, your power falls. Battles are assignments, not identities. Yet, many people allow seasons of struggle to rename them. A battle is something you face. It is not who you are. When challenges arise, they are often mistaken as personal definitions rather than temporary responsibilities. This confusion is what causes discouragement. The moment a person internalizes a battle, they surrender authority to it. But when a battle is understood as an assignment, it becomes something to manage, complete, and move beyond. An assignment implies purpose. No meaningful assignment is random, and no significant battle appears without reason. Battles arrive to develop capacity, not to destroy value. They reveal what is already within you but has not yet been exercised. Pressure exposes strength, not weakness. If the battle showed up, it is because there is something in you capable of confronting it. Assignments are given in proportion to growth, not punishment. Identities are permanent, assignments are seasonal. When you mistake a season for a definition, you trap yourself mentally. You begin to speak from the battle instead of through it. Words like, I am defeated, I am unlucky, or this is who I am now reveal mindset that allow the assignment to rewrite identity. But truth remains unchanged by circumstance. A storm does not redefine the ocean, and a battle does not redefine the person. Battles are classrooms, not prisons. They teach discipline, endurance, strategy, and dependence on wisdom rather than impulse. Every assignment carries a lesson necessary for the next level of responsibility. Without the battle, certain skills would remain undeveloped. Without resistance, strength would remain theoretical. The goal of the battle is not to keep you stuck, but to prepare you to move forward with greater authority. When a battle becomes an identity, fear settles in. You begin to protect the struggle, explain it, and even defend it. But when a battle is seen as an assignment, hope remains active. You expect completion. You look for instruction. You search for growth instead of escape. This perspective shifts emotional posture from survival to stewardship. Assignments require engagement, not surrender. You are not meant to avoid every battle. You are meant to face them with clarity. Avoidance delays growth, while understanding accelerates it. The strength you seek is often found inside the very challenge you wish would disappear. When you recognize that the battle is temporary, endurance becomes possible without despair. Battles also reveal alignment. They expose misplaced trust, undeveloped character, or unrefined priorities. This is not condemnation, it is correction. An assignment corrects course without canceling calling. It realigns focus so that future responsibilities can be carried without collapse. What feels heavy now may be building the structure needed for later success. Completion is the purpose of every assignment. No assignment is designed to last forever. When the lesson is learned, the season shifts. Resistance decreases when understanding increases. This is why reflection during difficulty is more powerful than complaint. Insight shortens the lifespan of struggle. When you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this training me for? Power returns. Identity becomes anchored again in purpose, not pressure. Battles lose their ability to intimidate when they are seen as temporary tasks rather than permanent labels. You are not your struggle. You are the one assigned to overcome it. When the assignment is completed, you move forward stronger, wiser, and more prepared than before. Battles pass, but growth remains. Blessings are evidence of provision, and they are often the quiet confirmation that life is being directed and sustained even when circumstances seem chaotic. Many people live in constant anxiety because they fail to recognize what has already been given to them. They focus on what is lacking, on what seems impossible, and on the challenges that press in from every side. Yet, blessings are proof that resources, favor, and divine orchestration exist to meet their needs. They are reminders that life is not random, and that help, growth, and opportunity are already in motion. A blessing is not always a dramatic event. It is not always a sudden windfall or an obvious miracle. More often, blessings are subtle, consistent, and sustaining. The ability to breathe, to think, to wake up each morning, to find strength in relationships, and to see another day are all blessings. These are evidence of provision. And they are indicators that you have not been abandoned to struggle. The moment you begin to recognize them, your perspective shifts. Gratitude replaces anxiety, and peace replaces pressure. Blessings confirm that you are already equipped. They show that resources exist even before you encounter the problem. When someone focuses only on lack, they live in a state of fear and desperation, constantly reaching for what they do not yet have. But when attention is given to blessings, a foundation of security is revealed. You begin to see that provision has been in place all along, waiting to be accessed through faith, wisdom, and intentional action. In essence, blessings are not just gifts, they are proof that the necessary tools for success are already available. Life often presents tests in the form of challenges and trials, but blessings serve as anchors during these seasons. They remind you that for every difficulty, there is a counterbalance already in motion. The roof over your head, the food on your table, the talents within you, and the relationships that support you are all tangible evidence that provision exists. These blessings do not eliminate battles, but they equip you to face them without despair. They are the visible markers of an unseen support system. Blessings also encourage perspective. When life is measured only by problems, people underestimate the capacity of what is already theirs. They miss the hidden victories and quiet successes that accumulate over time. Recognizing blessings trains the mind to see patterns of favor and guidance, which builds confidence and resilience. It allows you to interpret circumstances correctly, understanding that difficulty does not mean neglect, and delay does not mean denial. Provision is already present. The evidence is all around you if you choose to notice it. Furthermore, blessings inspire trust. When evidence of provision is acknowledged, faith grows. You begin to trust that the unseen forces working on your behalf are active and intentional. This trust transforms how you act, speak, and make decisions. Instead of moving from panic, you move from assurance. Instead of reacting in desperation, you respond with strategy. Blessings become both motivation and confirmation that you are aligned with a system of provision that exceeds immediate understanding. Blessings are cumulative. One small blessing is a sign. Multiple blessings are apparent. When these are recognized consistently, they teach a powerful principle. Life is not dependent on luck or random chance, but on the constant presence of provision. This realization transforms attitude, strengthens resolve, and restores confidence. It turns fear into faith, anxiety into assurance, and scarcity thinking into abundance thinking. Ultimately, blessings are living proof that provision exists before problems arise, that sustenance is available before scarcity manifests, and that favor accompanies purpose even in seasons of waiting. Recognizing blessings is not merely An act of gratitude, it is an acknowledgement that life is intentionally structured to support growth, success, and fulfillment. When you focus on them, you are reminded that you have not been left to struggle alone. Blessings are evidence that everything you need to fulfill your destiny is already present, ready to be received and maximized. Gratitude restores perspective because it shifts the mind from scarcity to sufficiency, from complaint to clarity, and from despair to hope. When life becomes overwhelming, it is often not because of the magnitude of challenges, but because attention is fixed on what is missing or what is going wrong. Gratitude is the lens that refocuses the mind, allowing a person to see beyond immediate difficulty and recognize the resources, favor, and opportunities that are already present. It transforms perception, reminding the heart that even in struggle, life continues to move forward and provision continues to exist. Gratitude is more than polite acknowledgement. It is an intentional recognition of value. When a person actively identifies what they have been given, whether tangible or intangible, the mind begins to reorient. Simple things, health, family, shelter, the ability to think and plan become evidence of sustenance and favor. These recognitions create a foundation for stability. And stability produces a perspective rooted in truth rather than emotion. The heart becomes calm because it is no longer ruled by anxiety or scarcity thinking, but by awareness of what has already been supplied. Perspective is critical because it shapes response. Two people can experience the same challenge but react in opposite ways based on where their focus rests. One who focuses on lack becomes anxious, fearful, and indecisive. One who focuses on blessings, who practices gratitude, becomes strategic, hopeful, and resilient. Gratitude restores perspective by redirecting focus from the problem to the provision, from the difficulty to the opportunity, and from the threat to the promise. This shift changes the narrative of life, reminding the mind that challenges are temporary, but the resources to overcome them are already present. Gratitude also cultivates clarity. When a person is consumed with what is missing, decisions are clouded by fear and impatience. Complaints dominate the mind, and progress slows. But when gratitude is exercised, the mind is able to see the full picture. Limitations are viewed as temporary, possibilities are recognized, and priorities become evident. Clarity enables a person to act rather than react, to respond with wisdom rather than emotion, and to navigate difficulties without losing sight of the ultimate goal. Another way gratitude restores perspective is by exposing abundance in the midst of scarcity. Life often presents challenges that seem insurmountable, but when the mind is trained to recognize what is already sufficient, the pressure of the situation is reduced. Gratitude highlights resources, connections, skills, and opportunities that were previously overlooked. It teaches that even in seasons of lack, there is enough to move forward, to create solutions, and to build momentum towards success. Gratitude also protects against comparison. When focus is on what others have or on what seems unfair, perspective is lost. Life is evaluated through a lens of envy or resentment rather than through recognition of individual provision and purpose. Practicing gratitude restores perspective by keeping attention on what is personally given and available. It emphasizes what is being accomplished and what has already been received rather than what is missing or what belongs to another. Finally, gratitude restores perspective by generating hope. Recognition of blessings, provision, and progress creates confidence that tomorrow holds promise. It transforms fear into faith and impatience into patience. A grateful mind interprets challenges as temporary assignments rather than permanent definitions, seeing growth, learning, and preparation even in difficulty. Perspective is restored because the heart is anchored not in circumstance, but in recognition of what is real, sufficient, and enduring. Ultimately, gratitude is a tool of vision. It allows a person to see life accurately, to measure it by what has been supplied rather than by what is lacking. It restores balance to thought, steadiness to emotion, and clarity to decision making. When gratitude is practiced consistently, perspective is no longer distorted by fear, impatience, or comparison. It becomes possible to face life's battles with confidence, to embrace blessings fully, and to move forward with purpose and peace. Gratitude is not simply a feeling. It is a strategic act that restores the mind to truth and aligns the spirit with possibility. Stability comes from vision, not circumstances. Because life is never without change, challenges, or uncertainty. Many people mistake calm conditions for security, believing that peace is only present when the environment is favorable. Yet true stability is internal, anchored not in what is happening around you, but in what is happening within you. It is created by a clear understanding of purpose, direction, and long-term goals. Circumstances are fleeting and unpredictable, but vision provides a steady foundation that remains constant even when storms arise. Vision is the mental and spiritual map that guides decisions, priorities, and action. It is the awareness of where you are going and why you are going there. Without vision, people become reactive, moving from one crisis to the next, depending on circumstance to determine their mood, behavior, and sense of security. When circumstances control stability, every difficulty threatens peace, and every delay triggers anxiety. But when vision guides stability, obstacles are seen as temporary tests rather than permanent barriers. Vision provides context, showing that challenges are part of a larger process, not the final verdict on life or potential. Stability grounded in vision is proactive, not reactive. When a person is anchored in a clear purpose, they can maintain composure in the face of adversity. They know that setbacks are only moments in a journey, not definitions of identity or destiny. Circumstances may fluctuate, but the understanding of direction allows decisions to be deliberate rather than impulsive. Stability comes from confidence in the destination, not the condition of the path. People who lack vision are tossed about by every change in circumstance, but those with vision navigate challenges with focus and resilience. Circumstances often appear threatening because they are immediate and tangible, while vision is long-term and abstract. It is easier to worry about what is visible than to trust what is unseen. Yet, those who cultivate vision understand that life is measured by alignment with purpose, not by temporary conditions. A dry season in finances, relationships, or opportunities does not destabilize them because they see beyond the immediate situation. Stability comes when focus is on progress and alignment rather than on pressure and limitation. Vision also provides perspective. It allows a person to evaluate problems in light of purpose, distinguishing what is urgent from what is important. Circumstances can distort perception, making small issues seem catastrophic and temporary struggles seem permanent. But vision enables discernment. It clarifies priorities, illuminates next steps, and strengthens endurance. Stability is produced when perspective outweighs panic, and when the mind is trained to see the trajectory of life rather than just the momentary difficulty. Stability rooted in vision also fosters resilience. When vision is clear, mistakes, failures, and opposition are no longer sources of despair. They become feedback, opportunities for adjustment, and proof that progress is being made. Circumstances will always test resolve, but vision transforms tests into assignments, disruptions into lessons, and setbacks into stepping stones. Stability is the fruit of consistent alignment with what is meaningful rather than constant attention to what is challenging. Finally, stability comes from trust in the process of vision. A person anchored in vision knows that what is important is not immediate approval, immediate results, or immediate comfort, but faithful movement toward a clearly defined goal. Circumstances will fluctuate, sometimes favorable, sometimes hostile, but stability remains because it is internal, not external. It is cultivated through planning, clarity of purpose, and confidence in the journey, not by attempting to control or predict the environment. Ultimately, circumstances are temporary and unreliable, but vision is enduring and transformative. Stability does not come from avoiding storms. It comes from understanding the destination and navigating every season with direction. When vision becomes the foundation, peace, composure, and confidence persist, even in uncertainty. Stability is not a gift of circumstance, it is the result of intentional focus, clarity of purpose, and trust in a vision that transcends the moment.